Hey YouTube, it's your girl Rachel, and I am doing the my first time tag. I saw a few of my girls here on YouTube do this tag, and I thought it was really funny and it was really cool just to go through it myself to see how much I can actually remember. So if you're interested, please stay tuned. I'm going to be reading from my trusty handy dandy iPad right here, so if I look away a few times, just ignore that. I am looking at the question. All right, the first question. Do you still talk to your first love? I do not. My first love, his name was Charlie, and sadly enough, he was murdered. Number 2, what was your first job? I've always been that kid that just had to have extra money doing this and doing that. So my first job, which was like under the table, my mom met a young lawyer in the dry cleaner. And he needed some help in the law library doing different research for the cases he was on. So I was like a paralegal. So that was my first under the table job. But my first real job that I got checks from, I worked at Rally's Hamburgers. In some states they're called Checkers, but I worked at Rally's and I did the drive-through, and I loved it. Actually, it was fun. Number 3, what was your first car? My first car was when I joined the Army. I had a green Chevrolet Malibu. I don't remember the year. It was probably like 1990 something, and her name was Whitney. I named all my cars, and I named her Whitney. Please don't be mad at me because the woman was alive back then, but I named her Whitney because my car used to shake, so I always said she was fiending for her drugs or whatever, so I called her Whitney. Whitney Houston, crack is whack. Number 4, who was the first person I text today? Let's see. Oh, I know who it was. It was my supervisor. I texted him today because I was sick and I'm actually feeling better. It's like 5:05 p.m. I was sick as a dog yesterday. I went to work, only worked half a day, and I felt like I couldn't move when I came home yesterday. But I thought I was gonna come to work today, but I didn't go to work. And yeah, look at me, I'm filming YouTube videos. Who's the first person you thought of this morning? Of course, Micah. My primary concern is my son. I thought of him because I had to get him up and get him to school this morning. Who was your first grade teacher? OMG, my first grade teacher was Mrs. Swarzak. That was my first grade teacher. I know all my teachers' names. Where did you go on your first plane ride? The first place that I went to was Orlando. We went to Disney World, and I believe I was in the 3rd grade. Might have been the 2nd grade, but I think I was in the 3rd grade, and that was the first time. Number 8, who is your best friend and do you still talk to him or her? My best friend, her name is Brandy. I have a few like besties, first best friends that I still, Brandy and Tamika, known them since kindergarten. How ironic is that? And we're still friends. And I think those are the only 2 people that I can say I've been friends with practically all my life, because I've known them since kindergarten. But we got closer probably more 5th, 6th grade-ish. Where was your first sleepover? First sleepover, I think I was in the 5th grade, maybe 4th grade. It was at this girl named Blythe's house. I know her last name, but I'm not going to say it. But that was my first sleepover, and I had the time of my life. Who was the first person you talked to today? Of course, Micah. Whose wedding were you in for the first time? I was only in one wedding. My Army buddy, Cassandra, I was a bridesmaid in her wedding. And that was, I don't know, years ago. And she ain't married no more. What was the first thing you did this morning? Probably got on Instagram to see what's going on in the world, because sometimes you can go to sleep. Oh no, the first thing I did this morning, yeah, the first thing I did was definitely Instagram. Definitely Instagram. Like, I'm addicted to social media. I just want to know what everybody's talking about, you know, black social media. What was the first concert you ever went to? First concert, like, I really wanted to see Michael Jackson, but my mother wouldn't let me go see Michael Jackson because that's when he started grabbing his crotch, so I wasn't allowed. So my first real concert wasn't until I was in high school, like around 96, 97, and I saw Junior Mafia with the Notorious B.I.G., DMX, Mary J. Blige, Puffy. Like, that was the best concert ever at the time, because I've been to better concerts, but that was the dopest concert ever. Oh my gosh, I like totally lost my mind. It was like a 2-day concert because DMX didn't show up the first day. He couldn't get there for some reason, and you had to come back the next day to see DMX, and he was just bananas. So yeah, it was like one of those. It was Junior Mafia and Rough Riders collaboration concert, something like that. They don't even do concerts like that anymore. It was so many major people in one concert, ridiculous, and it was good. First broken bone, thankfully no broken bones, and Lord willing I won't have any in the future. First piercing would definitely be my ears. I've had multiple holes. I'm just stuck to the one. Of course, you know, back in the day we had the double hole, and then you had that piercing that was up here. I had that piercing. That was hot. Left Eye from TLC, she definitely killed this piercing. And I had my tongue pierced twice before, and the only thing I'm into is just the earring right there. That's enough for me. First foreign country, first foreign country would have to be Nassau, Bahamas. I've been on a couple of cruises, and I've only been to the Bahamas and to Mexico. I would love to go to Europe, places like that, but those have been my first foreign countries. First movie you remember seeing in the theaters? Wow, that's a tough one. I remember sneaking to go see Boys in the Hood. It wasn't Menace to Society. It was one of them. I think that's what it was. That's what I can remember. I know my mom used to take us to see the kiddie movies, but like the first movie to go out with your friends and stuff had to be like Boys in the Hood or Menace to Society. Whichever one came out first, it was definitely one of the two. And I had to sneak and see that, because my mom was not about that life at all. When was your first detention? OMG. I remember having a detention in the 8th grade, and I'm not even sure what I did. I probably was getting smart with the teacher, because I have had a slick mouth and all that bad stuff, but I wasn't allowed, and I had detention, and it was the same day as like our dance and talent show, and I was so sad because I couldn't go to the dance and talent show. And after that, I was just like, bump that. I'm not getting in trouble near the dance and the talent show, because that was like the business at the middle school that I went to. Who was your first roommate? My first roommate, of course, would be my sister. But as an adult, my first roommate when I joined the Army and in the barracks, I had a whole bunch of roommates in basic training, but that doesn't count. But my first roommate, damn it, I forgot her name. Oh, shit. What is her name? I cannot remember her name to save the life of me. I can see her face. Takosha. That's her first name. I won't say her last name, because of course you go by last names in the Army. But Takosha, first roommate, and she was from Sandusky, Ohio. Yep, Takosha. What was the first lesson you ever took? The first lesson, actions speak louder than words. So that's probably one of the first real lessons that really meant something to me, because you can talk a good game, but if you don't do it, then it's meaningless. Who was the first beauty related person you watched on YouTube? Okay, I know this one. I was looking for I think it was Bobby Boss, Indy Remy, Ocean Wave hair, and Lover for Fashion and Eve's Child. They sold me Lover for Fashion and Eve's Child. They totally sold me on that hair, and I was like, I'm getting that hair. And after that, I had no idea about the YouTube beauty. I had no clue about what was popping on. I had no idea, like literally no idea, which is so funny. And my good friend, she was just like, girl, everything's on YouTube. I was like, you ain't never lied. And I was hooked. And I think it might have been like a holiday weekend, like Labor Day or Memorial Day. I was like on YouTube the entire day. You couldn't get me off of there. I was looking at so many different videos, but it was totally Lover for Fashion and Eve's Child. I think she has some numbers behind her name, but I'm not sure. But that was definitely it. All right, so that is it for the questions for the my first time tag, and that was really fun, just having a few memories, you know, from back in the day or whatever. Anyway, thanks for watching, and please stay tuned for my next video.